All right. Okay. Happy Earth Day. Yeah. It's still celebrated. All right. So let's begin. We can tuck our thumbs into our fingers. Let our hands rest on our thighs. Taking a few moments to attune to your body and the alignment of your body. Allowing the breath to move deep into and through the body. And as you drop in to your body, to your breath, just noticing your mind and the focus of your mind, and if your mind is moving quickly or not attuning to your body or your breath, and even if it is, it can be a useful exercise to recall your intention. Your intention for practicing, just your intention for being in the world. Sometimes things can be difficult. Situations might seem overwhelming. And so recalling our intention can be a resource and can be a refuge. It can help to center us and to ground us, to realign us with our purpose. Refocus our motivations. So as you align your body and feel your breath, allow your body and your breath to be vehicles or vessels, conduits for your intention. And as you're ready, we can bring our hands together and we can prepare for our self-massage. And we can use this massage, this practice of self-massage to just nourish our bodies with our intentions, replenish ourselves, resource ourselves, steward ourselves. Let's take a nice deep breath in and shake it out. Rubbing the palms together and massaging one hand with the other. And then we'll move right towards massaging our faces. Up and down or up and out. then from here, the fingertips can just run right over the scalp, front to back or back and forth. And then as you're ready, your hands can slide down the back of the neck and around the base of the neck. Nice big breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together and breathing. Let's bring our hands over our lower ribs and massaging the lower ribs. We're going to do some other warm-ups, so we're not taking as much time with our self-massage, our seated self-massage this morning. So from the lower ribs onto the belly, maybe one hand over the chest, giving some attention to the lungs and the heart. And as you're ready, your hands can come around the waist to the area of the lower back, the kidneys, drawing the hands out. Shake them out. Rub the palms together. And a quick arm massage. We'll tap our fingertips, run up the outside and then down the inside. Up one more time and down, changing sides. Up the outside, down the inside. And one more time up, and then down. Big breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together, we can bring our hands or our feet out in front of us, and we can massage our feet with our hands. Maybe spending a little time on the deepest hollow on the bottom of the foot, just applying some gentle pressure there, allowing the focus of the mind to move to that spot on the bottom of the foot. And then from here, we can run the hands up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. And one more time, up and around and down and out. Deep breath in. Shake it out. Rub the palms together. Tucking the thumbs into the fingers, hands resting on the thighs. And again, just attune to your body and your alignment and breathe through your whole body. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel the boundless sky all around you. Breathing both the earth and the boundless sky into your body. And breathing out, just allowing those energies to move through you, to interact, to transform into each other. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. All right. So, just recently, I guess it was the beginning of the week, we began the 6th phase of spring. So the 6th and final phase of spring, the name of this phase is called grain rain, because everything is warming up. So, there's a little more evaporation happening. Ideally, that leads to clouds, which then rain. We've heard that it's going to be a big El Nino year, because maybe a little warmer, so evaporating a little more of the oceans, raining down on us. So grain rain. Also, a way to think about this, because we've talked about springtime and this idea of the liver and visions and planning. And so, it's like, what are the seeds that we're watering? And how are we watering those seeds? Because I feel like, Earth Day, I guess it's maybe in my mind because of that. It's like there's a lot of things that we would like to see happen, right? There's a lot of effects we would like to see. If it's world peace, or if it's less pollution, or if it's, people just being more community oriented and management of resources, things like this. So those are all effects. So what are the causes of those? What causes those things to happen? Maybe certain small choices that we make from day to day, and so this idea of grain rain, of kind of watering the seeds, those seeds being those small choices or intentions or focuses, more like the seeds are the causes that then give rise to the effects. And so again, I feel like in our modern culture, we can be very kind of outcome-oriented or very effect-based, we're not seeing the effects. But, I heard one teacher say one time that, the whole phenomenal world, all of this, is the realm of effects. And the causal realm is not obvious, it's not manifest, it's somewhere underneath. And so again, thinking about, how are we watering those seeds? What is the grain rain that is allowing some of these visions and imaginings and potentialities to then actually come into being? So what are we doing as far as that's going? I think it's something that we're all probably grappling with to some extent, right? It's like there's war going on because of the things that we consume on a regular basis, because then it makes oil in the Middle East really important, to the point where it's just such a huge negotiating piece of who gets to control the oil, and how do we navigate that, and what's going on, and what if we weren't using as much oil, but we all are using it all the time in everything that we're doing. And so even just spending some time thinking about that, that's like watering those seeds that then might manifest as choices that can lead to certain effects or causes. So, effects, not causes. So again, this idea of grain rain. And then also, within the context of the year of the fire horse. We've talked about it a fair amount already. So fire horse is fire, so fire, fire, fire. We're in the springtime. Wood feeds fire. But also, each one of these elements has a yin and a yang aspect to it, right? And so we've got fire, fire. We have plenty of yang happening with the fire all year long. That's just the nature of the energy of this year. So with wood, do we need yang wood to the yang fire? I mean, I don't know. It seems like there's plenty of that. And so again, thinking about what's the yin aspect of wood that can contribute to a more healthy, balanced fire. How can we balance out all of this yang? And so again, wood, it has a yin and a yang. Liver yang, wood yang is the action. It's doing something. It's like going out there and, yelling and screaming and all of this stuff. Like that's very liver yang energy. It rises. It's combustible. So what is the liver yin? What is that aspect of action, before action? What is it? Again, we've talked about the visionings and the imaginings and what are the possibilities, and also adaptability and flexibility. And like within wood, it needs to be able to bend with the winds. It needs to be able to, as it's a sprout growing up through the ground, encountering a rock and being able to navigate around the rock without losing sight of what is the ultimate goal or purpose that we're working towards. And so spending time in that place. I actually feel like it's kind of hopeful in some of the conversations that I've been having with people or hearing what people are talking about. Because for a while, it was definitely like everything is terrible and we're all doomed. And I feel like that we've been in that place for, long enough now that energy is kind of starting to exhaust itself, and it's starting to get into like, okay, so if we're all doomed, well then what comes next? And that's liver yin, and what comes next is unknown still. And so again, we have all of the seeds in front of us of what could possibly come next, good and bad, positive and negative. And so which ones will we water? Like, where are we going to put the attention? What gets nourished by the liver yin or the yin wood or the yin of springtime that then starts to grow? And is it going to be like rigid, hard, very dry, very combustible wood that just bursts into flames really easily? Or is it wood that's flexible, that's malleable, that is infused with a greater purpose than just burning into fire? Maybe we can see beyond just fire in the wood. Maybe we can see the ashes that the wood will become after it burns, that can nourish the earth, that can become fertilizer, that can allow for something else to arise out of that. Going a little bit further than just one step ahead. This is also liver yin, being able to see all the way through. And this idea of grain rain is a time to really do that. Time to spend some time in the possibility, but not just like, wow, wouldn't that be great? Okay, now I'm going to go back and just live my life in the way that got us here to begin with anyways. It's like, yeah, wouldn't that be great? And so what do I need to do to make that happen? Like, what are the small moment-to-moment choices that I need to make every second of every day that can then actually give rise to that? As opposed to just saying, that'd be great, and now I'll send it out there and let someone else take care of it. So it's really kind of reclaiming that aspect, because that's also a very wood type of thing, to be like, yeah, this is mine, this is my responsibility to grow, to show up. I'm going to be the tree that's going to reach to the light. That's how wood can be. That's how wood can also be kind of problematic at times. So again, balancing that out with flexibility, with a broader perspective, with understanding that we're not the only tree that's trying to reach the light. How can we all get there? And how can we be one of those trees that the trees that can't make it to the light, we can then nourish them through the root system, which does happen, right? It's a beautiful thing. So again, that's also an aspect of liver yin. So things to consider on this Earth Day and in the beginning of grain rain. Okay. Anything else about that? Thoughts or comments? Okay. So, physiologically, wood relates to not only the liver organ, but also to our tendons, our ligaments, our joints, that ability to move and to be flexible. And so what I'd like to do is we can begin today by doing a little bit of warm-ups, just some joint mobility warm-ups, and then we can do the padai again, kind of working with that to warm up, and then we'll move into the Ma Huang Dui Qigong. And we did the first 3 movements last week, so we can review those, and then we can keep going and see how far we get. All right. Thank you for listening. Wow, that looks tilted. Maybe it just will be that way. Okay, great. So, joint mobility is just like what it sounds like. We're just going to kind of move through our different joints in our body and mobilize them, loosen some things up. So let's take a moment to just stand and get oriented, and you can rock back and forth, front to back on the feet. You can shift side to side and just find yourself in this standing posture. Let your knees relax so that you can settle into your feet. If you'd like to lift your toes off the ground so you can find your big toe mound, you can find the base of the pinky toe, you can find the outside edge of the foot and the heel bone. And from there, as you breathe, just invite the breath more into the backside of the rib cage. Almost like you're using your breath to lift the lower ribs off of the lower back. And as you root down through your heels, you can then reach the heels and the base of the skull away from each other. Up and back through the base of the skull, so the chin will just naturally tuck a little bit as we lengthen the back of the neck. And again, rooting down through the heels, inviting the breath into the back lower rib cage. And just feeling how we can use the breath to get wide, and that width helps us to get long, and that length just helps us to feel engaged. And then together, let's take a nice deep breath in and amplify. Let it build the charge. Just hold everything in, build it up, and then let it go. And maybe just a little shake. Let's do that 2 more times. One more. Big inhalation. Amplify. See if you can engage as much as you can engage. Let it build up and then let it release. All right. So, joint mobility, nice and easy. This is the window leg. Windows. So let's start with the window leg and just kind of roll. It's almost like you're making a circle with your knee, but you're rolling over that big toe, if that's available to you. Just kind of going in one direction. Nice and easy. And then we can go back the other direction. And as you're doing it, let your intention be on what it feels like. You can also think about the joints, the ankles, the toe joints. And these joints are filled with fluid, and cartilage can relax. And the cartilage is like a sponge. It's a spongy kind of tissue, and as we're moving it, we're really flushing the fluid through the whole sponge, so it's kind of like we're Getting, if you have a sponge that's maybe wet in the center but dry around the edges, so then it gets a little brittle and flaky. It's like we're squeezing the fluids all the way through the sponge, so the whole thing gets nice and lubricated and soft and flexible. So let's do the other side. So let your mind be there, just thinking about hydrating these tissues. Liver yin, nourishing our tendons and our ligaments so they can be flexible and resilient and full of all the nutrients that they need to move freely. And we can go the other direction. And then we can come back to stand, bringing the feet a little closer together, and we can bend our knees and let our hands just rest above our knees, and then we can make circles in one direction. And again, take your time. I think knees they're a joint that a lot of us probably notice. So do this in a way that doesn't feel like it's putting you in a vulnerable position. And then we can go the other direction. And you can bend just as deep as you want to, which might not be very deep. And you can feel into how the weight is distributed through your feet, through your hips. And then we can come up to stand. And then we'll take a wider stance. And we'll do some hip rotations. And with this, let's go really slow. And we'll do it kind of following the 4 directions. So we'll go behind us, and then towards the mirrors, and then in front of us, and towards the windows, and back behind us again. And so just kind of going through those 4 directions purposefully and slowly so that you can really feel what it feels like around the hip joint. You've got the adductor muscles in the inner thigh. You've got some of the hip flexors and extensors, like the glutes. And so just taking the time to really be able to feel those. We can do one more back, and then we'll go the other direction. So towards the windows, and the front, and the mirrors, and the back. And as you're moving through this, maybe it starts to become a little more fluid, but maybe you just stay like you're checking each box or touching each base as you're going around this circle so that you can really stay with what's happening. We'll do one more time to the back, and then come back up to stand. We can bring our feet a little closer together, about shoulder width or hips width apart. Bring the hands up in between the rib cage and the hips. So rather than working in the hip sockets, now we're going to work more the SI joint and where the pelvis meets the spine, so you can bend your knees deeply. And again, we can do that same 4 directions, mostly just with the hips now. And the circle is going to be a little smaller. And it might be a little bit more accessible to just kind of find a more kind of fluid, circular motion. But I would still encourage you to really take your time. And even if it's a steady, fluid motion, really thinking about how you're touching each base as you're going around the circle. And we can do one more rotation this direction. And then let's go the other way. And as you're moving the hips, you can think about where your head is oriented. And if thinking about your head takes you too far away from your hips, you can always return to those 4 directions, making sure you're moving through them, touching the base. One more full circle, and then back to to center. Yeah, great. Now we can kind of do some upper torso rotations, and this one, it's a little trickier because we're doing the rotation from about the belly button level. We don't want it to be too big because there's not a ton of movement that's going to happen here, but let's bring our hands to our chest so we can hold them against the chest. And then again, just slightly, we're going to go back and to the side and forward and to the side. And the hips are staying pretty stable here. So, not going too big, taking your time. And if it feels a little uncomfortable or vulnerable, you can make the movement smaller. You can also not do the movement at all. It's like we're rotating the rib cage down to the diaphragm. And then we'll get to the back, and then go the other direction. Continuing to reach and up and back through the back of the head, even as you make the circles all the way around so that you have a nice long neck. We'll do one more rotation. And then we can send our hands up and out. So now let's do some shoulder rotations up and back. Forward, up, back, and down. And see if you can really feel the shoulder blades moving up and down on the back. Almost like the shoulder blades and the rib cage are moving a little independently of each other. And then we can go the other direction. And going this way, I find, can sometimes bring a little undulation into the spine. Really working the shoulders. See if you can feel your collarbones, where they attach to your sternum at the base of your neck in the front. You can let that relax. Now, we're going to work with the whole arm here. So leading with the elbow, we'll come forward, the elbow comes up, and see if you can look at your elbow and your hand as you reach out and back behind you. And then we can do the other side. So elbow comes up through the elbow, and then extending the hand. Keep your gaze on your hand, and it comes down. And then we can alternate side to side. So it's like a nice backstroke. And if your hand is moving out of your gaze, just adjust it so that it can stay within your gaze. So you don't have to over-rotate your neck. You don't have to over-rotate your spine. Getting your hand behind you, just stay within the realm or the zone of comfort. So lifting the elbow, extending back behind. Other elbow, and back behind. Inhale and exhale. In and out. One more on each side. And just standing for a moment. Breathing. And see if you can feel as you breathe into the space, like in between your shoulder blade and your rib cage on your back. Can you feel the breath move in between that area? Like the shoulder blade and the rib cage can get kind of adhered, and it all moves as one unit. So see if we can create some space there, loosening up everything. More room to then breathe in the backside of the body, more room to move the arms and engage. So now let's do some hand rotations, outwards to the side. inwards the other direction. And then we can kind of shake up and down, and side to side, maybe forward and back again, maybe all over. Good. And then just some really gentle neck rotations. So what we'll do is we'll let the chin come closer to the chest, and we'll just do half circles. So rolling so that the ear moves towards one shoulder, and then down through center, off to the other side, and again, down through center and off to the other side. And we're not collapsing through our shoulders or rounding too much through our spine, really staying rooted through our feet and our legs, so we have a nice lift and a stretch that comes all the way up through the neck, even as we're moving like this. One more time to the other side. And then back to center, rolling up. Yeah, good. You know, there's a saying that even a rusty hinge won't make a sound if you open and close it every day. So, same thing with our joints. Good, now let's do the padai. So, we did this last week. We'll do it the same way as we did it last week. The whole thing twice. First time I'll call them out. The second time we'll just move through it. Breathing, attuning, recalling your intention. What seeds are being watered by this brain rain within you? Let's rub our palms together. First couple places we tap are on our head and face, so tap gently. And we'll begin with the cheeks. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Side of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Back of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Top of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Forehead. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Neck and thyroid. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Upper chest. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Shoulders. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Under the arm. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Elbow. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Back of the hand. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Lower ribs.
一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Belly， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Lower back， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Hips。一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Hip creases， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Thighs， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Back of the knees， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Legs， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Inhale and exhale. 2 more big breaths, nourishing breaths. With the whole body. Send the breath where you need it in your body. Again, let's rub the hands together. And remember, we're moving through this, we're quick, but we're not in a hurry, we're not rushing. So let's begin. 1二3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8， 2 2 二三四五六七八，二三四五六七八，二三四五六七八，二三四五六七八，二三四五六七八，二三四五六七八。
Two more deep, nourishing breaths. Breathe where you need it. Send the medicine where it needs to be. And then just breathe for a few moments. Yeah, feel free to adjust your stance, get comfortable. I just realized I forgot to put on a belt this morning. Pants are a little loose. All right. It happens. Okay. So let's find a comfortable stance and just kind of be in this energy. And actually, before we begin Ma Huang Dui, let's just, in honor of Earth Day, let's do a little gathering of the earth and the sky. So maybe stepping out a little wider, and let's do it in a couple different ways. So let's begin with this way. So just inhale the arms out, palms down. And then exhale, turn the palms up. Inhale, gather, and then exhale. And again, inhale, palms down like you're drawing the energy of the earth up. And then exhale like you've got it in your hands. And then inhale, sending it up into the sky and gathering the sky, and exhale, bringing it down to the earth. So be a conduit of this transformation, of this interaction. It's like maybe we're bringing the wisdom of the earth up into this human realm, letting it inform us, and we're bringing the wisdom of the boundless sky down into the earth. Let us remember all that we already know, all the wisdom we already have. Let it move through everyone. Let all of these gifts of the earth and the sky be bestowed to everyone. And they're gifts that we don't need to do anything to get. We don't need to attain them. We already have them. We can just acknowledge them. One more like this. And then let's do the other version. So we can inhale, exhale the hips back and going towards the ground, inhaling, gathering up from the earth, and then exhale. Inhale, gathering from the sky, and exhale. In and out. In and out. In and out. A couple more. And again, it's like we're watering seeds, gathering into ourselves and then sharing it. Allowing ourselves to be gathered. One more. And relax. And again, just feel your breath moving through your body. Feel the boundless sky moving into and through the earth. And the earth blossoming into the boundless sky. And again, you can adjust your stance so the feet don't need to be too wide as we begin Ma Huang Dui. So nice and easy with this idea of nourishment, flexibility. And we'll begin. So inhale, palms down, fingertips forward. And then exhale. Inhale, stretch back behind you. Exhale. Hands come up, roll your fingers in one at a time as you inhale. And then exhale. Fingertips stay forward. Now right into the inhale, open. Opening the chest, stretching, feeling the shoulder blades move towards each other, and then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Spread your wings. Out. Rolling in. And out. Rest for a moment. Is it better if I face away or towards you? Does it matter? Okay. We'll maybe move through both. So the hands can float up in front of the face, and we'll make the sounds kai and ha. Opening and harmonizing. So inhale. You can shift towards the windows and open the foot towards the mirrors. Send the hands out. And then the top hand drawing back through the elbow, the hips can open. And this elbow and back hip are kind of reaching towards the windows as the front hand is reaching away. And then relax. And the hands come up. We take a breath. Weight shift, pivot, and then reach out. And the top hand draws back. That back elbow and the back hip reaches towards the mirrors as we reach out, palm out towards the window, stretch, breathe, and then just relax. One more time on each side. So inhale. Weight shift and open. Reach out. And then drawing back through that upper hand and elbow and hip. Reach, take a breath. Coming back to center, nice and easy, nice and flowy. Inhale. reach out. Pulling back. Elbow and hip reach one direction. Upper palm reaches the other direction. Breathing and then relax. Hands can come down. Inhale out. And then exhale. Palms can come back to back, and as you reach down through your fingertips towards the ground, the chin comes towards the chest, but we're also reaching up through our heels, so we get a nice stretch through the upper back, and then relax. I'll mirror you so we can shift as the hands float up, and then send them out. Adjust the back foot, hands flow back. We're just following the momentum. The arms continue around and up, shifting into the front leg, palms back to back. And now pull your fingertips back, shift your weight into your back leg, looking down at the ground. Shift your weight forward, and like you're pressing down through your hands, through your foot, opening your heart and chest forward. And then relax. Yeah, I would encourage you to also just let your inner flourish. Kind of helps the movements, like you can feel them more, I think. And it's fun. So fingertips towards the ground, chin towards the chest, maybe lifting off the heels, like reaching through the balls of the feet, stretching the upper back, and then relax. We'll pivot and open, and then the hands come up and send them out. The back foot can adjust, and then we can rock back. The hands just keep circling back and up and around. Weight coming into that bent front leg, palms back to back, stretch, and then shift your weight into the back leg, pull your fingertips back, looking down at the ground, stretching, and then shift the weight forward as the hands come down. It's like pushing off and up and open. And then come back to center. Palms back to back, fingertips towards the ground, stretch, breathe, relax. Open towards the mirrors, hands come up. Shifting back in, and again. Palms back to back. Shift back in, and then exhale. Press in, and out. Fingertips towards the ground. Stretch, inhale. Exhale. Open towards the windows. In and out. Adjust the back foot. In and out. Shift the weight back. In and out. Shift forward. Press down and in. It's a nice movement. So that's what we did last week. So let's keep going. So I'll mirror you for this next movement. We are going to step out to the side, so just so you know, we'll step towards the windows first. So this movement, we're going to bring the hands up to the level of the lower ribs, and I'll mirror you, so we'll send the hands out to the side, and then as they come back behind us, we sweep around, and we can then step, shift the weight, step the other foot in, and then we're reaching up and back. So like this. And if you can, look back at your hand. And then from here, we're going to bend at the knees. The hands sweep down. And then up on the side. Down the center. We'll do the other side. So, coming up to the lower ribs, send the hands out, and as they sweep out, step together, and then down. Sweep down and across, and then rising. We okay? Let's keep going. So same thing, up, and then send them out, stepping out. Step together, like this, and then down, and out. And again, in, out, in, out, in, and out. Again, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, and out. Yeah. And then breathe for a few moments. It's funny, the person who requested this form isn't here today, I don't think. Oh, that's funny. Next movement. Let's open the feet out a little wider. And then we're going to bring the hands up again to the lower ribs, tracing the bottom of the rib cage. And then we're going to do a squat, so send the hips back. Hips are reaching back, and then the knees start to bend because the hips keep reaching back. So the toes can lift. The weight is not in the front of the feet. It's back, and then we can reach down, so like we're sitting down into our heels, reaching back with our hips. And then we can come out like we often do here. Coming up, palms together to the heart. From here, send the hands up, and like you're making a nest with your hands, reaching up, and then as you reach higher, the arms separate, you can stretch, maybe coming off of your heels, and then relax back down. And so again, inhaling to the ribs, exhaling, Inhale the hands out in front, press through your heels to come up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, up. Fingertips separate, wrists stay together until they just naturally need to separate. And relax. In and out. Just down as low as is comfortable. In, out, in, out. Just do it again. In, out. In, out, in, out. So our feet are angled out slightly. What we're going to do is we'll kind of bring one foot in and then the other foot in. So now we're slightly pigeon-toed. And then from here, with our pigeon toes, we're just going to do, with the arms, it's kind of like a horizontal, just reaching back and forward. So the name of this movement is called, what my teacher calls it is the duck splashing in the water. So it's like as if you're a duck sitting in the water, and then you're just splashing the water with your wings. So that's the horizontal. We do this first. And then we'll bend the knees a little deeper, and we'll do the vertical. So reaching out and back. And then just keep sending the hips back, the hands forward, hips and hands reaching away from each other. Weight is in the heels. Hands come down. And then inhale, fingertips forward, lift the back, stretch through the back of the neck, and relax. Knees can bend, roll yourself up. Hands come up to the chest, and then send the hips and the hands away from each other. Just go down as far as it's comfortable. It doesn't have to be too far. Fingertips face down, and then inhale, send them forward, flatten the back, lengthen the back of the neck, relax. Inhale up to the lower dantian. So again, inhale, horizontal, and then vertical. Hips and hands away from each other. Inhale up to flat. Exhale. Inhale, rolling up to the chest, and then send it out. Hips and hands away from each other. Weight in the heels. Inhale. Exhale. In to the lower dantian. Take a breath here. We'll do it one more time. Nice and slow. So in and out. In and out. In to flat. And out. Rolling up in to the chest. And then out. Inhale to flat. Exhale, rolling up to the lower dantian. Oh. let's do one more movement. So, we can inhale the arms out, step the feet a little closer together, palms facing down, and then from here, we'll relax. So let the elbows bend, making little beaks with the hands, kind of stretching in. And then let's open out. So window palm turns up, mirror palm turns back and up. And we're looking out towards the windows, stretching that direction, staying rooted through the mirror edge of the foot, and then come back to center. And then mirror palm is up, window palm reaching back and up, stretch, and relax. Inhale, window palm up, mirror palm back and up, relax. One more, inhale, mirror palm up, window palm up and back, exhale. From here, the hands can float out, and then mirror hand comes down, window palm comes up, and then the lower hand comes close to the body. We're going to send it, palm up, lower palm down, press away from each other, lift the heel of the upper arm, and just look up at that hand, stretch. And then relax. Lower palm floats up close to the body. So we've done movements like this before. Upper palm faces up, lower palm faces down, and we press. And the heel on the same side as the upper hand is coming off the ground, and we're stretching, rooted down through that lower hand, foot, and relax. Nice side body stretch. And so again, upper palms up, lower palms down. Let's inhale and press. Relax. Take your time, upper palms up, lower palms down. Inhale, press. Hold it, stretch, and relax. Just stand for a few moments. Drift. Feel what information your body has for you after doing some of these movements. How do things feel in your body? How is the breath moving through your body? Feeling the earth beneath your feet. Inviting with your breath the earth up through your feet into your body. Exhaling, sending the energy of the earth out around you. With your breath, invite the energy of the boundless sky down through the top of your head into your body. Exhale, send that energy down into the earth. And again, inhale the earth up into your body. Exhale it out into the biofield. Inhale the boundless sky down through the top of your head. Exhale, send that energy through your feet into the earth. Just do a couple more rounds of breath like that in your own pace. The sky down through bikeway. And exhale out, Yong Chuan into the earth. Inhale through Yong Chuan up into the body. From Dan Zhong out into the biofield. Down through Bai Hui. Out through Yong Chuan. One more time. In. Dan Zhong. Out. In. And out. You can just breathe naturally. Maybe the pattern continues. Let's fold one hand over the other, over the belly. Feeling your hands on your belly, allowing your mind to be under your hands. Feel the sensation of your hands on the belly. Feel the breath moving underneath your hands. Allowing the focus of the mind to be in the belly. We can gently massage our belly. The hands can come around the waist to the lower back, massaging the lower back. We can draw our hands out, shake them out. Relax the stance if you'd like, and let's rub our palms together. Massaging our face up and down a couple times. Over the head a couple times. Down the back of the neck and around. Over the chest. Lower ribs. Belly again. Waist again and lower back again. And then drawing the hands out. Let's pat up one arm. And down. Up the other arm. And down. And then around and down. Up the front. And again, around and down. And just taking a few moments to just breathe. Remember, fire can melt metal. In the year of the fire horse, helping to support metal, i.e. lungs, skin, large intestine, is helpful. One of the best ways to do that is through breathing. So let's do some breath exercise, very simple. Just a nice gathering breath. Let's inhale. And exhale. And let's just do this. Breathe deep. And let's exhale with a sigh of relief. Gather everything you need. It's there already. Nourish, water One more. And then she hu. Slowly. A little faster. A little faster. Faster. Three, two, one. Big breath. Two more. One more. Breathe up from the earth. Share it with the whole world. Breathe down from the sky. Share it with the whole world. Again. And out. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. So just spending a couple moments just drifting in this field of medicine that we've made for ourselves and have shared with the sky, with the earth, with the biofield. Just feel that exchange of chi. Feel how you can nourish yourself, the world, everything. Feel how by nourishing yourself and the world and everything, you are nourished. Let's gather the arms out and up, step the feet a little closer together. And then exhale. Down the front of the body, take as long as it takes, just guiding your awareness, your energy, your breath deep into your body, settling into the lower dantian. Around the waist and down. All right. Great. Hey, any questions about any of the movements that we did? Okay, good. We can just keep doing them. And then eventually we'll do something else. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. And yeah, grain rain. What seeds are we watering? Liver yin. Like what comes before the effect or the action? What is that? What's that? And not being so yin that nothing happens, but like, how can that be what's happening? That's the koan to ponder. Okay, thank you again. Have a great week. All right. And thank you for being here online. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for your practice. We'll see you next time.